we finally brought the presentation full circle because our initial problem was money, not having enough money to invest and having to work the rest of our what? Lives. I want you guys to write this down. This is called income shifting. The first concept that wealthy people teach their children from day one is how to shift their income. This is something that's not taught in schools. It never has been. This is something that won't be taught in schools and probably never will be. Most financial teachers won't teach it, or professors. Economics won't go through it because, believe it or not, most people don't even understand this. So you'll never learn these types of things in schools because traditional education won't teach you about money. They teach you how to go get a great what? A great job. So don't break the rules. Don't even violate the rules. Don't get mad at the rules. Just play by the rules and become wealthy so you can do what they do. So income shifting is real simple. Once you understand, everybody in America primarily will get paid 3 different ways. And it's your choice. Nothing wrong with any of them. Just understand how it actually works. Make sense? Okay. All right. You're either a W-2, a 1099, or you can become an investor. So long story short, in America, it's set up where wealthy people will always pay less taxes and poor people will always pay more taxes. Now, I tell people, I'm not here to bash America. I don't bash the government. I'm not bashing capitalism. I just say become one of the wealthy so you won't be one of the individuals paying the highest amount of what? Taxes. In extra digit, we have a formula called 369. Those are the most important numbers of your life from this day forward. 369. Within the first 3 months, we show you how to clean up your cash flow. And when I say 3 months, I mean 3 months or less. When I say 6 months, I mean 6 months or what? Less. When I say 9 months, we mean 9 months or what? Less. The first 3 months, we're going to show you guys how to clean up your cash flow. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, to clean up your cash flow is simple. The money that you're making, someone else is beating you to it. So we're going to help your own income go a lot farther. That's the key. Within 3 months. Now, here's what I love about our concept in extra digit. If you don't light up after I show you how to make more money with your own money, there's no need of me talking to you about the 6 and the 9. I look into your eyes on the 3, and I can tell whether or not we need to keep talking. Does that make sense? Write this down, guys. Look into their eyes on the 3. Because I'm just being honest with you. Because with the first 3 months, what we do is simple. We're going to show you the taxes you're spending, the debt you're paying, and the expenses you have, and start looking at how to minimize all 3 of those and bring some of that money where? Back. With no extra effort, no extra energy, you don't have to do anything but go home, plug into our software, and listen. If we can't show you how to make your own money go further, we definitely can't show you how to make any more money. The government is going to take 28 to 33% of your income on a W-2. A business owner has the fortune of paying between 18 and 23%. So the government legally, ethically, and morally allows you to open a business and pay less what? Taxes. Now I'm going to put this in parentheses because here's the reality. A business owner pays the same percentage, but the net effect that it has on your household is you're going to pay less percentage wise. Does that make sense to you guys? In other words, a business owner doesn't pay 18 to 23%. But because of what I'm about to show you and the deductions that he has, it ends up he'll lower his income and pay less taxes. Everybody got it? So as an investor, you're going to pay less than 15%. So based on that and that alone, if you had a choice, which category would you participate in? An investor. Because the government says we're going to take the least amount of your money as an investor. See, that's why I'm telling people, it's nothing wrong with the government. This is not an anti-government or anti-establishment or anti-capitalism. I'm simply saying the government gives you an option as to which one you want to participate in. It's just that most people choose not to exercise the best 2 options. Here's a common sense approach, and I want you guys to think about this. We're going to have some fun today. Who has the biggest, let's just call it, checking account in America? The U.S. what? Treasury, also known as the government. Now, here's the question you got to ask yourself. Who puts the deposits into their account? We do, when we pay taxes. So here's another question. Who has the second biggest checking account in America? The banks. Now, here's the question. Who puts the deposits into the banks? So it sounds like all the money, the biggest checking account in the world is the government. The second biggest is the banks. And we put all the deposits in. Sounds like the people are the ones that have all the what? Money. So all you're doing when you clean up your cash flow is saying, I need some of that back. Instead of you making deposits, when you clean up your cash flow, within the first 3 months, it's time for you to make a what? Withdrawal. That's what cash flow management is. So strategy 1, let's look at cash flow management. There are 2 types of cash flow. You have what's called a negative cash flow cycle, or you're either in what's called a positive cash flow cycle. It's real simple. Negative cash flow is defined as the lack of money is costing you money. So let's put it in layman terms. Overdraft fees. That means if I wrote a check or I swiped my debit card and didn't beat the money to the bank in enough time, the bank charged me anywhere from $28 to $36 overdraft. They'll clear the check, but you're going to pay for that. That means the lack of money costs me more what? Money. Late fees. If I don't pay my cell phone bill the first month, it's not off. No problem. They'll roll it around into month 2, but there's a late what? If I don't pay my rent by the 5th or the 3rd or whatever, it's no problem. They won't put me out right away. But what's tacked on next month? Late fee. So my lights aren't off, but they're past due. I'm just paying the past due part. That's cash flow failure. So that they won't cut them off. My gas is not off. My lights aren't off. My cell phone's not off, but they're all about 30 days behind. That's cash flow failure, because if you look at the total, or you look at your itemization, there's a late fee in there because you're not current. Everybody got it? Now, if you add up $10 here, $10 there, $10 here, $10 there, just take 5 bills and add $10. We're not going to talk about rent and mortgage. That's not $10. $5 times 10 is $50 a month that a lot of people pay in late fees. So people say, no big deal. Well, multiply 50 times 12. That's 600. People say, no big deal. Multiply 600 times the number of years you've been working. People say, no big deal. Then multiply that by the interest that it could have been making had you had that money. Big deal. Big deal. So if you multiply all your late fees times how long you've had those late fees, and then you develop that over the course of, or use the compound interest and see where that's going, it can cost you over $120,000, $200,000 over your working years just in late fees. Because it's not the fact that the bills were late. It's the fact that that's money you weren't investing. You see? So broke people say, well, $10 no big deal. Wealthy people say, wait a minute, $10 not a big deal, but I'm not trying to give it to you if I don't have to. Give you another example. I walk into a car dealership. My credit is bad. You walk into a car dealership and you have cash. The new Honda runs us, let's say, $30,000. Now, my credit is bad, so I need a loan and I have no down payment. Will they give me a loan? Absolutely. But the interest rate will be what? Sky high. So on a $30,000 vehicle that's really worth about 18, I will probably spend 49. By the time the car is paid off, they made another $19,000 off of my lack of cash. Now you walk in, cash money. You have $24,000 cash. They want $30,000 for the car. Will you leave with the car? Yeah. Absolutely. You don't need financing. You have cash. Not only did you save yourself $6,000, but you no longer have the interest or debt that I have that was worth about $19,000 too much. Your abundance of money saved you money. My lack of money cost me money. So the first thing we do is give you a cash flow calculator so we can take what are called our 5 streams of income. Write that down. In extra digit, and our software through MyEcon, we develop 5 streams of income. 5. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at your tax savings. If we minimize your taxes and that income comes back into your household, did we just develop a new income stream for you? Yes. It's a stream that you didn't have prior to joining the business. If we take those new tax dollars that you did nothing extra for except adjust your W-4 and look at it, and we pay off all your debts with the new tax dollars, do we create income stream number 2? Now the money's coming back in from the banks back into your household. Now you have your job money coming in, the tax dollars coming back, and the debt or banks paying you your money back that was going out. Now we look at our expenses. We look at where big business may be robbing us with our late fees. We're big business, and some of our spending habits. I don't care if it's something as serious as cigarettes or you're overpaying on your Blockbuster or Netflix account. And we start looking at where your money's going every single month, and we bring the expenses back in. Have we created another avenue of income? Yes. Now we show people how to minimize their taxes, minimize their debt, and minimize their expenses, and you start earning business income. Have we introduced you to another form of income? Now we take the money from the taxes, from the debt, from the expenses, and from the business, and we start investing anywhere from 15 to 35% of the 4 income streams and create a 5th income stream for you called investment income. Have we created another form of income? Yes. So what we do in Extra Digit using the MyEcon software is create 5 income streams: taxes, debt, expenses, business income, and investments. Now you show me somewhere where they're going to show you how to make 5 streams of income at the same time without selling. The first thing you need to look at is a form known as your W-4. Your W-4 is the form you filled out when you first got your job. It tells your employer how much to withhold out of your check for your taxes. Everybody got me on that? Now, if you look at your W-4, it says at the top, revisit this form every year should your situation change, because our circumstances change all the way. I know people literally who have not looked at their W-4 since they got their job, and they've been there 15, 20 years. They've had children since. They've gotten married since. There's certain allowances that the government will give you if you are married and have what? Children. But the W-4 still says I'm single, no kids. Now, what does that mean? That means you're giving the government too much. So here's the reality. The W-4 will help you minimize your taxes. So if the W-4 is adjusted automatically off the top, the amount of taxes you pay will go what? Now, we use the W-4 money, and we won't go shopping with the W-4 money. We're going to use the extra money from the W-4 to pay off our what? Yes. Pay off our debt. They're catching kids right now out of college. No, forget out of college. First year of college. Their table set up the minute you go in college, because we know you're going to need a what? A credit card. Now society has programmed us to thinking that debt is okay. If you can't afford the BMW, don't worry about it. We'll give you a what? A loan. If you can't afford the house, don't worry about it. We'll give you 2 mortgages. If you can't afford the books, don't worry about it. Just put it on credit card. If you can't afford the education, don't sweat it. We'll give you student what? Student loans. America now has you thinking that debt is perfectly fine. It's just the way it is. And guess what? Debt is something you can pass on to your children. So what we have to realize is that debt is it's probably of all of them, the biggest detriment to your financial success is debt. Because here's the reality. Write this down for your notes. You work for the banks from May to August, because you have to pay back what the government took from January to what? To April. So the second third of your money generally will go to banks. Let me give you a great depiction of how debt actually works. Everybody ready? I want you to think about this. You have 100 acres of land, and you're trying to cut it with a push mower. Now, I want you to imagine this is you. You working hard. This is you on a push mower. You got 100 acres of land to cut. You just, you having a good time. You finally get to the end. Took you 2 weeks. You turn around. All the weeds are what? Back. It's like you never even cut it. You know what amazes me about people? You will come into this room, look at this business. We'll show you the small fee that it costs to get started, and you'll look at the fee and question it, but you don't question how much interest you give your credit card every month. Isn't that crazy? We send $129 to the credit card company, $108 is going to interest, $21 going to principal, and we send an extra $108 every month to Visa. And then you'll come into our business and look at a small fee and go, man, I don't know, I got to go home and think about it. But you don't think about the interest you're paying every single month on all your debt. Here's something to think about before I move on and close this out. How much more money would you have if your debt was 0? So here's the question I always ask everybody. Do you think wealthy people work harder than you? Or do you think wealthy people have just figured something out that most people have not figured out? It's called a strategy. They have a strategy in place. So let's look at it real quick. For $179, and this is what I love about our business, not $9.99, not $6.99, not $3.99, not $2.99. For $179 one time and $29 a month pays for what I tell people, the strategy we teach you, the software to run your strategy, the system, which is the training system, and your success. So if you're taking notes, that's real important. Brian, what does the $179 and $29 actually pay for? Well, we teach you the strategy. Then we show you the software to implement the strategy. Then we give you the training system to show you how to use the software. And that all leads to your financial success. Strategy, software, system, success. Very, very important. Now, who spent $179 on way worse than a business? When I tell you I've blown $179 in a second, you can blow $179 on a date. Fellas, I've been on them. I'm telling you. She ain't calling me back. Nothing. $179 gone. Right? And that was advertised. I was like, no, sister. No, just joking. So I want y'all to realize we spend $179 on way worse than a business. And we spend $179 a month on some credit cards. But you won't spend $179 on yourself. So there are millions of people in America who are just above the poverty line. Now, when I tell you I have been there, listen to me. People don't understand this. If you're one check away from being on the streets, you are just above the poverty line. Okay, so let me make it plain for you. This is the guy that you see on the highway ramp. Will work for food. He is literally broke. This is me right next to him, one check away if my job don't pay me, with my sign saying, me too. See, he's literally broke, but I was technically broke. That means if we miss a paycheck, we got some serious issues. Most Americans, one check away from poverty. So when people talk to me about the importance of understanding extra digit and MyEcon and what we do, there's 300 million people who need what you have to offer. The question is, are you showing it to them? In the movement, we teach you a philosophy. Cash, asset, cash. Most people get cash and go buy trash. Everybody understand that? So what you're doing in the movement, you're going to take the cash that you didn't have before that was generated with your own cash and invest it into an asset known as a business, not some trash. Does that make sense to everybody? And it's all tax deductible. Trust me, when you start making millions of dollars, you're going to need some tax write-offs. It's either invest in your business or give too much to the government. MyEcon says, you know what? We're an official business. We've been in business for over 30 years. Our mentors have made $600 million plus teaching financial intelligence. $600 million. Would you like to partner with people for $179 that have earned over $600 million? That's what the movement is all about, creating wealth. So these people can now open a home-based business and do the same thing. Watch. Mortgage, square footage. A certain percentage of your square footage now becomes tax what? Deductible. Because you work a business out of your what? Home. A certain percentage of your cell phone bill now becomes tax what? Deductible. Same bill, same person. A percentage of your internet bill now becomes tax what? Deductible. Same person, same bills. See, the difference is we shifted something that was once an expense and made it a tax write-off for us because now we have a home-based what? Business. So I'll conclude with this. Strategy 3 is real simple. It's not hard to understand at all. Wealthy people get the majority of their income from something known as capital gains, dividends. In other words, money making what? So here's a concept to consider. If you and I'm just going to use a stock because most people can relate to it. So I'm not saying we don't teach you what to invest in. We're not financial advisors. We don't have a Series 6. We're just educators, and we just show you how money works. Is that okay? So let's say, for example, you and I invest in a stock, and that stock grows to $180. The capital gains was the 80. Does that make sense? The stock appreciated. Capital gains is also known as appreciation. The stock grew to $80. Now, the government is going to take about $8. So you took home net $72. Now, I'll conclude with this because I don't think it takes a rocket scientist or a financial analyst to tell you this. Make $100 over here. The same, make it with labor instead of what? Money. When $100 is made with labor, take off 33. Now, I'm not going to do the math. You just tell me if you want to pay a higher percentage on your $100 or you want to pay a lower percentage on your $100. So the bottom line is we got to get ourselves, we have to put ourselves in a position where we're thankful for our jobs but not satisfied. We create positive cash flow. By teaching people what we learn how to create, you can open up a home-based what? Business. Show people and tell people the testimonies and what it actually has done for you. They may want to do the exact same thing, thereby bringing you an extra $1,000 for every 7 individuals. After you hit executive vice president, your first 3, the 1,000 carries forever and 25 through infinity. After 9 months or less, some people it doesn't take 9 months or less, you want to position yourself where you can start investing in what we call the wholesale market and not the retail market. Now, we don't invest your money for you, but we teach you how investments actually what? Work. Visit our website, extradigitmovement.com, and click on training and investments, and you get an early introduction into how investments actually what? Work. We even have a software called a cash flow strategist that shows you how to earn your first $1 million. How much money do you need per month? How to start investing that money and how to start getting a return that you need in order to be happy so your lifestyle won't change. Visit extradigitmovement.com, click on software demo, and you'll see our cash flow strategists actually work right there on the website so you can develop one for yourself and start earning more money with your what? Investments. Remember this, for all you guys watching this, the only way for people to see what you saw is for them to see what you saw. Which means if you're going to try to show it to them, they're not going to see what you saw. They're going to see what you show them. And that's not what you saw. So we really need for people to see what you saw, not to see what you're going to show them. So we do that for a reason. If you visit extradigitmovement.com, there's a webinar where you can see our slides that's available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Would you rather show this to your people or somebody who's actually done it way longer than you? Let us do it, right? We have conference calls 2 or 3 times a week where you can hop online and hear live testimonies from people who are actually making it happen. People who flip their cash flow around $3,000 or $4,000. People who flip their cash flow around and made millions of dollars. Let the conference calls do the work for who? For you. So with that being said, listen, there are 3 types of people in the room. If you're watching this video for the first time, we just want to know one of 3 things. Are you a 3, a 2, or a 1? A number 3 says, thanks, but no thanks. Love my refund. No problem. I love to overpay my taxes. No problem. If you like your tax refund and you like the rate in which you're paying your debt off and you like your job, this is not for you. We're looking for 2 types of people, hungry and looking. We're not looking for unhungry. We're not looking for not looking. Because I have people come to me all the time. Well, Brian, I like it. I just got a couple of questions. Like, first of all, kill the attitude. Okay, that's first. All right, that's number 1. Don't come at me sideways. Now, what's your question? Well, you know, I'm doing all this. I'm doing all that. I'm like, well, sir, this ain't for you. Like, you're not going to get an argument from me. We don't tell you what to do. We just show you how it works. It's your money. So you're supposed to do what you want with your what? Your money. So number 3, thanks but no thanks. Thanks for at least taking the time to watch it because most people don't. Number 2 says, Brian, I'm in. I'm in primarily for the strategy and the software. I'm not really trying to build. I just want to know how the strategy and the tax advantages work and get out of debt. No problem. Number 2, you invest your $179, your $29 a month, and we make it happen and we show you exactly what you need to do to clean up your household. A number 1 says I'm in all the way. I want the strategy, I want the software, and I want to introduce people so I can build. And I need some of those $1,000 checks because I need to speed up and start investing. A number 1 we're looking for as well. So get with the person that introduced you to this video and let them know if you're a number 3, thanks but no thanks. Or number 2, I'm in for myself and my family. Or number 1, I'm in and I'm trying to make a difference in my household. Make sense? Yeah. God bless. My name is Brian Ben. I see you guys in the magazines. Thanks a million. I really appreciate you guys coming. Thanks a lot. All right.